That's a special ingredient that, I mean, there's a certain confidence, there's a certain knowing your craft real well. There's a lot of variables that go into that.
Right.
That, a lot of the young generation doesn't really understand that, you really have to
so
have
many
your act
ingredients.
together. You got to have that act together.
Yeah. And there's so many ingredients. I like doing musical directorialships. I love producing. I love just playing. I love writing. I love playing guitar. I stopped playing drums for a while when I started just writing.
Yeah.
And then I appreciated the drums more when I started playing again.
Right.
That kind of thing. Sometimes you have to step back.
Step back. Actually, take one step back to take two shoots.
And I've been very fortunate to work with people like, obviously, Keith Richards.
Yeah.
My experience working with the Stones has been incredible. Neil Young, Bob Dylan, working with Don Henley was amazing.
Yeah.
Cutting with Chrissy Hine, all the stuff with John Mayer, and having to work with the best. Two of my best friends in the world are Willie Weeks and Pino Palladino. You know what I mean? And how spoiled can you be? Will Lee is one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Neil Jason. All these great musicians, and they all have special qualities that are unique unto themselves. Whether it's Larry Taylor playing the upright, like Willie Dixon, what I mean? Who's incredible,
absolutely.
Or Kim Wilson, who a lot of people think of him as a singer and a harp player because he could play like Little Walter, but he can also play blues guitar. I learned a lot of blues guitar stuff between Kim Wilson and Keith Richards, that kind of thing. So I've been very fortunate with the people.
You use them as resources. It's almost like you're pulling from, you're learning from them. You're always in university mode at all times.
Absolutely. When I was working with Hubert Summerlin, I said, please give me a guitar lesson. I worked with Eddie Willis, great Motown. Give me a lesson. I've been around the best people. How can I not ask for a lesson? Jaco Pastorius gave me a bass lesson that I'll never forget. And he gave me some advice. He said, Steve, write every day. It doesn't have to be good. Every song you write is not going to be great, but try to write. When I was starting to write music, it was to just start writing something every day.
Yeah.
And that's what he did, and that was great advice, because you can't just sit around and try to write one song and beat it over the head, or think you're not good, or get lazy. If you want, it's a discipline.
Yeah.
You're going to be a songwriter. I've worked with Burt Bacharach, who's one of the greatest songwriters, obviously, ever of all time, and it was a thrill to work with such genius.
Boy, how powerful, how powerful. With the young generation and all these names, as they research these names to understand more about it.
Right.
In closing, what would you say to generations of young, inspired, and aspiring musicians? What would you say to them, the overall understanding of the music industry?
Here's the thing about the music industry. You don't need the music industry to make music. But the music industry needs you to make music, or else there's no industry.
Interesting.
So,
perfect.
When people get all twisted, they're trying to get on a chart. Somebody's telling them, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Wait a minute, hold on. If push comes to shove, if you go on the street, if you know how to play, you can go on the street and take a hat, put it down, and you can make a living.
Right.
I mean, if that's...
Absolutely.
But the music industry, without any music, you can't how they're going to make revenue if there's no music.
Right.
Okay?
Well said. Well said.
The other thing is, it's better to be good than to try to be famous. Try to get good. Try to be good at what you're doing.
Right.
Don't try to be famous.
Right.
That's what all these shows have done. The shows have, from American Idol to The Voice, to all of these shows, what they've done is they've undermined the creative process in America in particular.
Yeah.
I think, some of these shows were actually created outside of America.
Right.
But because we're in such a reality show
mentality,
cluster blank now, where we have people like, that's why you can have Donald Trump and all this stuff going on.
Right on.
We've lost our way. All right? So people want to be famous.
Right.
But if you're really good, the chances are you will end up being famous at some point.
Right.
And then you'll have something to show for it.
Right.
You won't be a reality show star, whatever, or have something hot for like 6 months to a year and then never be heard from again.
You'll have a career.
You will have a career with longevity, with backbone, with some root.
Right.
And it'll bring you joy in your life. You'll feel good about yourself because you're actually good at something.
Right. Boy, that's very, very powerful.
And that's the thing. That's it.
You have a discipline that you have consistently maintained, incredible high standard of playing. You continue to do that. You can see it within just your philosophy of how you treat life and how you face the world. That really is what makes Steve Jordan Steve Jordan. That is so powerful. That's the best message. You have done great. I think this message that these kids, as they see this and they understand this, you've opened up eyes to many, many young musicians. You continue to do it. On behalf of the sessions, we thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You've done
Tom.
great, Steve. Thank you so much.
All right, man. God bless.
Great.